Hi, my name is Seraphel, and today we'll be working on this Hauntlywood Mysteries Frankie. Before I remove everything Hauntlywood related on this Frankie, I just wanted to note that this is a gorgeous space doll. I love this screening on them. Of course, I'm partial to a gradient lip, and I always think Frankie looks good in muted mauve. Also, despite being polypropylene, their hair was pretty soft right out of the packaging. However, it is still poly, so of course I'm going to be rerooting them. I've removed the head, removed the poly hair, and shrunk the holes, so now it's time for the reroot. Despite being someone who loves Frankie with darker hair, I've decided to reroot this Frankie using Saran and Ice White from dollyhair.com. Most white Saran will lean a bit more yellow, which explains why this hair looks like it's more of a platinum blonde than white, but that's okay because it will perfectly suit the look I'm going for today. Before I get into that, I wanted to do a more formal display of the reroot process I use for straight hair. I learned this method from Doll Explodoir and Opalescent Custom Dolls on Instagram. First, I wrap my finger with some tape, being sure to push the tape into the sidewall of my nail to make a little valley. This will make scooping up the hairs a lot easier. Then, you want to take a section of hair and weave it through your fingers. Flattening the hairs as much as possible against your finger also makes this next part easier. With the same hand, you want to hold the head with your index finger close to where you want to plug. Then, using your reroot tool, scoop a plug's worth of hair, slide it down your finger, and plug it in. When I've used up all of the hair, I use a brush to very lightly detangle. From there, you pick up a new section of hair and repeat. When I first tried this method, I didn't like it very much because I felt like I lost a lot of hair, but if you wrap your finger with tape and press the hair flat, I found that I lose very little. Of course, practice also played a huge part, but now I can't really imagine doing a straight hair reroot any other way. It gets the job done incredibly fast, and as someone who likes instant gratification, I can't really ask for anything else. I wouldn't say rerooting is now my favorite thing to do, but I do dread it a lot less. After I finished the reroot, I secured the hair using Fabri-Tac glue and waited overnight for it to dry. The next day, Frankie's body got its head back, and I prepped them for their face-up. As usual, I removed the beautiful factory screening using 100% acetone, remove any residue with some soapy water, and spray 2 starting layers of Mr. Super Clear. Recently, I've had EXO My Cyberlove by Chuu stuck on repeat. While I was digging through my stash of doll materials, seeing this yellowed saran reminded me so much of Chuu's blonde wig that I knew I had to create an inspired ghoul. I chose this Frankie because I thought their pink prosthetic with stars kind of matched the vibe, and I also thought that the kind of whimsical, eccentric styling was something I could make work on Frankie. When it came to sketching Frankie's face, I tried to capture Chuu's straight eyebrows. I wish I made Frankie's eyes a bit rounder, but I have to admit that they gave me a lot of trouble in general. If you're a returning viewer, you may notice that I'm drawing their eyes a bit differently from how I usually do. I wanted to imitate the contact lenses that kind of black out your iris and leaves a little pop of glowy color. I think having such high contrast in the eyes threw me off so bad that Frankie's face feels extra wonky to me. I know I'm not a machine, and hell, even the factory machines can't print a perfectly symmetrical face most of the time, but even at the time of recording this voiceover, I still feel unsure about this face. Anyway, my perfectionism aside, I had a lot to consider for how I wanted Frankie's makeup to look. Chuu's makeup artist for this era has been doing such a stellar job that it's hard to pick just one. Therefore, I decided to pick out multiple key elements. I decided to go with a peachy pink gradient lip with a special touch to be added later. Most of Chuu's eye looks have felt very soft, so I decided to keep it simple on Frankie and use a blue close to their skin tone to give some subtle shading. Chuu's makeup artist does not skimp out on blush, so I really went in and gave Frankie fully flushed cheeks. And with that, the first layer of color is basically done, but I got distracted trying to fix Frankie's eyes. When I was eventually satisfied, I sprayed another layer of MSC and continued to build my colors. It went by pretty quick since this face is rather simple. And on my third and final layer, I always begin with the eyelashes. I drew the lower lashes using dark brown, as Chuu's makeup artist seems to place more emphasis on her top lashes most of the time. I don't know how else to imitate highlighter, so I just used some watered down metal medium to add some subtle shine on the eyelids, eye corners, and aegyosa. I then watered down the metal medium even more before brushing it all over the lips. I was inspired by this look in particular. It's so pretty. And with their catch lights, they finally come to life. Off camera, I also dusted Frankie's cheeks with some pearly powder for even more sparkle. And here's the final look for my EXO My Cyberlove inspired Frankie. Unfortunately, my phone camera does not capture this Frankie very well, so I took even less photos than I usually do. As an apology, I'll go a little in depth about their restyle instead. I took direct inspiration from the picture that enamored me from the beginning. Frankie is wearing their jumpsuit, skirt, bracelets, choker, and purse from their Hollywood doll. The undershirt and the shoes not pictured are from Gorganizer Drac and Core Drac respectively. They're also wearing a sock from Day Out Draculaura on their non-prosthetic leg. I tied a ribbon around their head kind of like a hairband and added a few braids to their hair as a reference to Chuu's live band performance. I also thought I'd show you how Frankie sparkles under direct lighting. I can't help it, I love sparkles. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. While I'm still unsure about how I feel about this Frankie, I am at least a little bit proud about how I translated Chuu's essence into Frankie. I hope you enjoyed the video, I appreciate you being here. Stream EXO My Cyberlove by Chuu, and I hope to see you in the next one.